Now, I won't take the time, I don't have the time, but then about 10 years ago, I'll have to get the exact date. About 10 years ago, my goodness, my time is slipping away. I'll go quickly. Can I have 10 minutes? Raise your hand if I can have 10 minutes, please. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We're good, we're fine, we're all good. I'll go very quickly. About 10 years ago, I'm in Jerusalem, and I don't have time to tell this story. It's a story I still have a hard time believing happened. But I can't tell the story, but I had a prophetic experience in Jerusalem, right near the Western Wall, moving up toward the Temple Mount. And it was one of those experiences that you have maybe once, twice in your whole life. But God met me, and God affirmed to me that this is going to be the generation that sees the glory of the Lord return to Jerusalem. Now, 10 years ago, God spoke to me. He said, I want you to gather in a 72-hour prayer watch in New York City every year at Rosh Hashanah. And he said, I'm going to meet you there. And so for the past 10 years, every year, we've never missed it. We have had hundreds and hundreds of believers. We've gathered, God said, gather my people at the eastern gate of the nation, and I will meet you there. So at Rosh Hashanah for 10 years, we've done that. We've done literal round the clock. It's the one conference you can come to. You don't have to get a hotel. You need a toothbrush and a pillow, and you're fine. You just come and be at the conference all weekend. Last September, what month is this? September, a year ago. A year ago right now, we were there and God spoke. God said, now is the moment of Isaiah 2. Now, I want to read Isaiah 2 for you. Isaiah 2 says this, now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house will be established as chief among the mountains. What mountain are we talking about? We're talking about Jerusalem. We're talking about Zion. We're talking about a place that right now there is a mosque and worship is being lifted up to Allah, but there's coming a day where worship is going to be lifted up to Adonai, to the God of Elijah. We're talking about a global showdown in the spirit realm where the Lord is lifted up and principalities are dethroned over the Middle East. God begins to see millions of Muslims leave that violent religion and come to faith through the blood of Jesus. We see the curse canceled. We see breakthrough come to the Muslim world. Verse 3, it says, many people will come and say, come, let us go to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Now, I don't have time to get into all this. We got to go quick. I need you to work with me because we've got to bring this through to October and November. So God said to us last September, he said, you're not gathering next year in New York. You're taking this 72 hours because it's an Isaiah 2 moment, and you're going up the mountain of the Lord to Jerusalem. God said you're going to bring 72 hours of nonstop worship and prayer that lifts up the name of Yahweh, that releases the roar of the Lion of the tribe of Judah, that begins to sow into the atmosphere a miracle working power that changes things. You're bringing it to Jerusalem. I said, God, you're telling me this now? I said, I need 3 years to plan. I'm not Morris Cerullo Ministries. I need years to plan that. God said, you're doing it next year. We didn't have budget. We didn't have time. We said yes to God. And do you know what happened? All of a sudden, people started. Do you know who caught it? The young people. Rick Pino, Misty Edwards, Karen Wheaton, Eddie James. All of a sudden, one by one, they said, we want to go to Jerusalem. I said, I can't pay your way. I can't get. They said, we're paying our way. They said, it's time for Jerusalem. They said, this is that. It's a this is that time. We now currently have hundreds of young people signed up from 17 different nations that are gathering in Jerusalem October 7 to 10. Why? Because God did not speak to Theodore Herzl and William Heckler and bring his people back just to have a secular state of Israel. God brought them back in the land because Jerusalem is going to be the worship capital of the world. There is going to be praise and worship and glory and miracles, and the presence of God is going to be restored on Mount Zion. I want you to take 30 seconds and begin to prophesy. Prophesy to Jerusalem. Come on, lift your voice. Come on, lift your voice. Prophesy. Prophesy to Jerusalem. It's time. It's time for Jerusalem. It's time. It's time for the glory of the Lord to come to Jerusalem. Woo! It's time for the roar of the ancient lion of the tribe of Judah to be released as never before. Come on, one more time, shout, shout. Open your mouth and shout a shout of praise. Hallelujah. Be seated.